Hello there everyone, and welcome back to a new video. This is an update of lesson 2, which is basic items, and I'm going to be covering a lot more in this video than did in the original. As you can see along the side, we have a basic item, we have weapons, we have tools, we have armors, there's ammo, there's also accessories, and I'm going to show you each one individually. But first of all, let's go into Terraria and I will show you what they are like. And let me just switch to Terraria. There we go. Have it like that. And if we just go to mod sources and quickly build and reload. Single player, TMMC 01. Okay, so I've already got a different armor. This is the TMMC armor that I've created. Up here you'll see we have some tools. Here we have the basic item. In here we have something called scaled bullets. We have an accessory here. And this is just a default handgun just to show off the bullets. So, got a broadsword. I'm actually going to take off the accessory because of the speed. Got a broadsword-like weapon. Shortsword weapon. So you'll be stabbing. We've got a bow, but I don't have any arrows. So let me just grab some of those. Got a bow, fires arrows, as you can see. Pickaxe for your mining needs. An axe. A hammer, which obviously takes down walls, and you can also change tiles and slopes. And then we've got a hammer axe, or a Hamaxe, which will allow you to take down trees as well as walls without having to change a weapon. Next we have the scaled bullet. Now the bullet here is the standard bullet, but then when it hits the ground it will release another projectile. In this case it's going to be a smoke bomb, so I'm going to actually zoom out for this. Here's a slime. We shot it, and as you can see there's a smoke ball. And every time the smoke ball will come out, and it uses the velocity it already has, then does minus the Y. So if we shoot this gold bunny, I said if we shoot this gold bunny, you'll see that the smoke ball continues the velocity, but has the bounce from where the Y was previously. Now these smoke balls are going to stay around for a while, so let's zoom back in at one button, and let's have a look at the armor. So this armor is scaled helmet, scaled chestplate, and scaled greaves. These have a armor set bonus, which is best shown if I take off the helmet. As you can see, with the helmet off, I move in normal speed. If I put on, we move a bit faster, and I believe our damage is also increased. Can't remember what I did for it. Yeah, we have 20 melee damage by default, and 28 with the accessory, with the armor set bonus. And then finally we have the accessory, which is the fawn scale. What this will do is increase our melee speed and melee damage. So now we have 33 melee damage. And as you can see, our weapon is just going ballistic. Let's go into Visual Studio and I'll show you each of these starting from basic. The basic item, it extends mod item. These are the using tags you'll want to use using Terraria, Terraria.id and Terraria.modloader. And then in this case we're just simply going to override set defaults. I'm also going to set static defaults because I don't have one that shows you how to give a display name outside the localization. So there's override set static defaults, which will allow you to put the display name and a tooltip if you wish. In this case we're doing display name.set default and we're setting it to whatever we want. In set defaults for a basic item, all you can do is item.width and item.height. This is the collision box for the item when it's on the floor, or if it's used in melee or something like that. It's used for that. Item.rare is the rarity of the item. This basically changes the colour of the item, like blue I believe is basic, well white is the basic item, blue is very early game, grey is rubbish, red is I believe hard mode, early hard mode, something like that. Yeah, you can mainly use this to scale it with where you expect to get it in the game. Item.value equals item dot, this should actually be sell price, and in this case we're making it so copper is 10. So item.sell price copper 10, you can change this to platinum, gold, silver. You can also have multiple, so let's say gold 10, copper 5. If you're starting with platinum, you could just do 1, 5, 2, 3, and that would be 1 platinum, 5 gold, 2 silver, and 3 copper. So let's do, what was it? Copper 10 or something like that I had. And then finally, item.max stack equals 99. By default, this is always 1 because it's used for weapons and whatnot. So you want to set it to 99 to ensure that you're able to stack it. Next, let's go over to our 3 weapons. Most of these will be the same. There's some differences between them, but we'll start with the Broadsword. Now the first difference you'll notice in the set defaults is we don't have item.width or height. In fact, we have item.size, which is width and height combined. And in this case we do a new vector, and because it's 38 by 38 we simply put 38 in. Item var I covered, item value, again I've made a mistake, I'll be switching these around. And this is the main bit here. Item.auto reuse allows you to hold down the mouse button in order to use the item. It showed when I had the accessory equipped, we were able to use the item without having to keep clicking. Item.use time and item.use animation is basically the time it takes to use the item, and in this case the time it takes for the animation to complete. These don't have to be equal. It's usually the animation time is equal to or greater than use time. The use style, we can get item use style ID, and in this case we're in swing or throw. This is equal to 1, so item.use style equals 1 is the equivalent to this. Then item.use sound equals sound ID dot item 1. In this case it's the base, I believe this is one of the default sounds. You can change this around. As long as it's in sound ID you'll be able to use it. Custom sounds will be coming out eventually, and I will explain that in the future. Item.melee equals true, because this is a melee item, we're having that. There's also ranged, throw-in, magic, and I believe minion or summon. I think it's summon, which are the weapon types. And item.damage equals 20. This is an integer. You want this to be above 0. I'm not actually sure what happens if it goes below 0. Never tested. And item.knockback is a float, so make sure whatever number you put here has an F at the end. That's if it is decimal place, otherwise it would be counted as a double or decimal in this case, can't remember. Double. Make sure there's an F. I'll come back to the add recipe stuff later. Let's switch to the short sword. As you can see, I don't have the item.auto reuse here. But we have everything else. Use time and use animation is less than what our broadsword was, and we've changed the use style to stabbing. And like I said, I'm going to be changing these. So those two are pretty simple to do. So let's go over to bow. In this case, we're doing use style is holding out. So this is used for guns, spellbooks, flails, spears, bows, obviously. The sound ID is 5 for this. We do item.no melee, so when we actually using the item, we're not killing the enemy just by holding the bow out. We do item.ranged equals true. Then damage. I don't have knockback on this, just because pointless. Item.use ammo will decide what ammo type we're going to be using. In this case, we're using ammo id.arrow. There are multiple, such as bullets, and I actually can't remember any others. And you got item.shoot equals 1. 1 is arrows, so anytime you have a bow that's shooting an arrow, this is what you'll be using. Item.shoot speed is another float. The higher this is, the faster it shoots. 7.5 is a alright value for arrows, but whatever you are comfortable with, then you're doing that. Let's go over to our tools. Also, let's save all. So pickaxe is next. So, like everything else, we have the default stuff. Auto reuse is true. In this case, it's got use turn, which will allow you to turn with the item while you're holding it down. So if you're facing right, still with the button down. If you turn left, you will also turn left. You won't continue facing to the right. Even though it's a tool, these do have a melee damage. These are usually not very powerful, so just keep that in mind. Then for pickaxes, we do item.pick equals then the power. In this case, it's 60, which is better than a platinum pickaxe, which I believe is like 58 or something. So item.pick is the important part for a pickaxe. For hammer, we have exactly the same stuff. The only difference is item.hammer equals 60, which I've made all of these slightly better than the platinum version, which again I believe was also 58 or 59. I'll go to axe next. Again, everything same. Axes tend to be a bit more powerful than the others. The axe number is a lot lower than what the other ones are. I believe if you just take your number, divide it by 4 possibly. There's a spreadsheet I'll link in the description that has all the default values for stuff which you can compare to. So in this case, 13 is a bit better than the platinum axe. Okay, the Hamaxe is pretty simple. You just add in the axe value and the hammer value together in there. It's not recommended to also add pickaxe, but that is entirely up to you. You can combine different ones, but a Hamaxe is a common one. That's tools done. That's weapons done. Let's cover armors next. So with armor, we're doing auto load equip. The equip type for chest plate, because it's a body one, is equip type .body. Now you'll notice here I have 4 different images for the body. You've got the item itself, you've got the arms, which this is a separate image from the body, even though the body does tend to have arms attached to it. The body is the armor, the arms is, I believe, the back arm moving. Might be wrong about that one. Either the back or front one. And the female body is separate from the male body. So male body is always underscore body. The female body is always underscore female body. Keep that in mind. You can't have a default armor piece like this without having the components here, otherwise you'll get a missing resource error. Luckily it's only chest plates that have this kind of stuff, where you'll need 4, the other ones only have 2, so you're lucky there. So the set defaults with, oops, sorry, we're doing chest plate one. With chest plate, size, value, pair, done. The thing we have here is item.defense equals 18. This is how much defense this item will give, and pretty simple. We can close that. Greaves is the same, but we're doing equip type .legs. In this case, you need the underscore legs file. Everything else pretty much the same as the display. Now you'd be wondering where sets come in. Here. In the helmet, you'll most likely want to be using the helmet for keeping track of armor sets, because you can have a helmet, hood, different forms of headwear, which is kind of common in Terraria. What we do, public override bolt is armor set, and we get the body type is equal to item type, and then the class for the body, and we get the leg type equals item type there. In order to use item type, you'll be wanting to be doing this code here, using static terraria.modloader.mod content. This will allow you to do item type and get that. It's a very simple way of doing it. And then to give the set some effects, you can do public override update armor set, and then do, for example, player.melee damage. We're doing plus equals 0.4, and player.move speed, we do plus equals 0.4 as well. You can play around with different values. Please keep in mind that for stuff like health, you'll be using stat.lifemax2, and I believe that's also for mana as well. Yep, mana max 2. You don't really want to mess around with the first one. It's the second one that's the important bit. That's armor. Oh yeah, for helmet, make sure you have the underscore head. While we're in the equipment department, let's go to accessories. So again, we have all the stuff here. This time we have item.accessory equals true. This accessory isn't seen on the player like some accessories are. I'll be linking down the example mod that you can look at, which has some examples of it. Keep in mind that. To give the accessory effects, you do public override void, update accessory. You do, if you want, in this case we're doing a damage multiplier and melee speed. Pretty simple. You can also add buffs and whatnot if you so wish. I'll be adding some more accessories as I continue working on the revamped mod, just so you all have an example. And then the final thing we have is TMMC bullet. So ammo is going to be something that's a interesting one, because you need to have it in a set in order for different weapons to use the same ammo. So you could have like the default bullets, silver bullets or whatever, and then you can also add in your own bullets and all guns to be able to use it. So item.consumable equals true and item.max stack equals 999. Have I had a consumable item yet? I don't think I have. Consumable items are items that decrease upon being used. The stack lowered. Ammo is a common one. Blocks are another one. I haven't actually got any blocks, but I've covered tiles in another episode, so there's no to worry. It's a ranged, ranged item, I guess is the best way to say it. Projectile. Which that's true. Damage, knockback, you know. Item.shoot, we do the projectile type. Then, again, this is using the static mod content like before. And we put in projectiles.ammo.tmmc bullet because we have the projectiles folder. Ammo and TMMC bullet, as you can see, projectiles.ammo TMMC bullet. Basically copy whatever the namespace is, ignoring the mod namespace. Close that. Shoot speed usually doesn't matter. So you can have that. I believe it's added on to the weapon shoot speed. I'm not 100% sure on that. However, so. And then item.ammo equals ammo id.bullet. This will put it in with the bullet lot. Finally, we're going to be covering recipes. I'm actually going to go to our pickaxe for this one, because it covers something that's important to know. So first of all, when you override add recipes, you want to do mod recipe equals a new mod recipe, and then you put your mod. This. To add an ingredient, you do recipe.add ingredient, the item type, and whatever. This can also be item ID dot whatever as well. And then this number here is the quantity. So in this case, we're getting the two green scales is needed for this. Then there's something else you can add, which is recipe.add recipe group. In this case, wood. This allows you to use any form of wood. So you could be using ebon wood, boreal wood, basically any wood that exists in Terraria. And if you create your own modded wood, I'll be showing in the future how to add that into this recipe group. But for now, this is just default Terraria stuff. Then we've also got iron bar, which you'd think is just iron bar on its own, but iron bar covers iron or lead. And for some reason, this is the only bar that has this sort of recipe group. For some reason, like platinum and gold don't. I'll try to figure what the parallel one's, silver and tungsten, I believe. And anyway, in order to add a tile or workstation, you do recipe.add tile, tile ID, and then whatever you're using. If you're using a custom one, you do tile type, and then you'd write your class in there. Then do recipe.setResult, and you just pass in this. If you want to create multiple, put a comma after this and add the value. In this case, we're making 20 extra bullets from 20 extra scales. What were we under? Finally, we do recipe.addRecipe, and this will add the recipe into the game. Now, I'm going to quickly cover the language, as a lot of them do not have these set static defaults which I showed in the past. So if you have create a lang or localization folder, then create a file called en-us.lang. There's a multiple different ones you can use. Obviously this is English, so I'm going to be showing you the English one. This really helps with translation in the future if you decide to translate stuff, but in this case I've got all the item names. Do item name dot whatever the class name is, and equals, and then whatever the name of the item is. As you can see up here, I do have TMMC basic item equals green scale, but for whatever reason it hasn't worked for green scale, but it's worked for everything else. There's also stuff on here that I haven't actually made yet. As you can see, we've got the scaled broadsword, scaled shortsword, scaled bow, pickaxe, axe, hammer, hamaxe, chestplate, helmet, greaves, horn scale, and the scaled bullet. And yeah, that's everything for this video. I've covered items. I've tried to cover everything I could think of when I was writing this revamp up. In the description down below, there's going to be a link to the GitHub where this code will be available. There will also be a link to the spreadsheet I mentioned, which has the default values of all default items. And I'll also be linking the example mod that Tmod Loader comes with, as that will provide some extra information. However, the code can be a bit overwhelming sometimes. But take a look at the localization stuff on there, as it will give you all the different language files that you'll need to know if you are from a different country and you don't want English to be your main one. So thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you have found this video helpful. I'm going to be doing a few revamp videos. Obviously I'd done lesson 1 a few months back. I did a lesson 0 because of the way Terraria, also Tmod Loader had updated and stuff had changed, which I wasn't aware of. So lesson 0 was added. It's basically an extension to lesson 1. And then finally we have this lesson here, which replaces lesson 2. Basically, I wasn't a fan of how the slideshow kind of look was going with the early ones, and I really wanted to revamp it, so those are now done. If you are interested, I have a Patreon that is linked down below. If you could support me, that would be brilliant. If you're not subscribed to the channel, be sure to subscribe, click that bell icon, and if you like the video, leave it a like. And any problems you may have, leave a comment down below. I normally read them. I tend to respond. Most of the time I may link to something on the example mod, just so you can do some research. I don't like telling you how to do stuff in the comments. I'd rather you read it up yourself, just so you could kind of learn a bit more. Thank you everyone for watching. This has been Lynx. Goodbye.